Wow. I haven't made music in a while. I've been busy all week almost, but today I felt like I had time. Yesterday I just didn't want to make music. I felt worn out. Um,
Du har inget ljud som ska tvättas?
nope.
Vitt eller så?
Nej. Wanna. Okay, so I've chosen the tempo 125. If you want to make synthwave, you can pick anywhere from like, I think like 90 to like 135. I think we have seen the highest we've seen something that has been described as synthwave, retrowave, dark wave, whatever name you want to put at it. The highest have been like around 135. You could probably go higher, but I think that would feel very rushed. There are some notable tracks at 132, I think, that I've listened to. I can't remember the name, but I think I've seen that when I've looked up what keys and stuff is in. Key doesn't really matter. Like, a lot of them are in whatever key the artist feel like. I'm thinking either D minor or E minor. A minor key sounds pretty good. It sounds a little bit darker. A little bit more suspenseful. I'm thinking we're going for E minor this today. It's in 4/4 timing. The track is however long you make it. The first thing I would like to do today is just get a basic pad going so we can figure out the chord progression. I would have to start my master keyboard, wouldn't I? Make sure that is working, by the way. If it isn't working, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Because I didn't test it beforehand. Yes. I spent the entire morning doing business things and adult things. So, I mean, like, this is a great synthesizer. Say the PG8X. It's like the JP8X or something like that. So this one's good. We're just going to go for something basic. Both oscillators. I want it to be sawtooth on both, but I want to bring one down, detune it by about 6. 7 is too much, 5 is too little, 6 is perfect on this synthesizer. We're going to take the filter down as much as 20. So you can see there 20. Up there in the screen, 20. We're then going to get the envelope, this is envelope 1, and this is using envelope 2. So envelope 1 is going to get about a 25. I hate this. 25 in attack. The K should be around 60, I would go for. The sustain I can leave at 80 for now. And then the release should be around 50. And then you add some envelope amount. I would suggest starting with around 25. I hold down shift while actually touching it to get 25 because it skips it for some reason. Do you hear that clicking in the beginning? So we're going to have to go to envelope 2. Make sure that this is a battery. We're going to do about the same. I'm thinking 30 increments. This is 60, so this should be 65. And this should be 85 for now. And this should be 55-ish. There we go. And then we're just gonna go for about a 35. So why is it so dependent on the set? Why is it so dependent on... Huh. Unison detune. Doesn't have a unison on it, but hey. And then we're gonna trigger global gain. MIDI. Does it have a... It has aftertouch. But why does it feel like the velocity of this is way more than it used to? Okay, so we're gonna want it to go a little bit more up. And here it is where we're gonna have to change the sustain, because it's gonna open up and stay 2. Okay, I'm puzzled by the feeling of that. So then we want to get a little bit more release on our envelope 2, the envelope that controls the VCA. Just a tad, maybe 65. Well, that's interesting. We're gonna add even more. So that's interesting, and that might be okay. So we're gonna go back to 65 here, and we're gonna increase the release of that filter, because this might be the culprit here. And now it's too much. Okay. Because that's the problem sometimes. Yes, that sounds about good. Then we can add... And then it distorts a bit, because this one actually does that a lot. So I usually bring it down to about 80. And now, because I don't really know what keyword... Well, I know what key we're in, but I don't know what keys are in the key. The keys that are in the key is the keys in the key. Since it's a G, presumably it has a... Oh, yes, of course. So it goes... So we can't go to F. We could start on A. It's a nice day to say goodbye, but I don't wanna say goodbye. It's a nice day So the D there, it kind of has a... This is like, yeah. Okay, I'm doing fine. We're doing so fine. What happened? It's okay. I like the chord progression. So we have the chord progression down. And we have a basic pad sound. I'm not sure this is what I'm going to go for, because this sounds very grand. I might actually have it open a little bit less. 60 seems like a little bit too much. We're going for 45. 50. Okay, sorry, mister. Nope. 55. Closer, so 60 should be it. I think we were at 65. And then we could just program it, because it's, you know, it's not the 1980s. We don't have to play it live. Fuck it. We'll do it live. No, we don't have to do it like that. So we're starting off with an A. Then we go into a... And of course, you're going to want to keep your voicings pretty good. And now the last bar. Then we're going to see how that loops, right? So this would be an E. And then we're just going to check out the voicings. So I could bring this D up. Nope. Ah, that's terrible. And then... But keep the E down. Which means that this E would have to go down. And then it would sound something like this. We loop it. I press my loop buttons and loop it. Ooh, wow. Do you hear that? It does not want to be on the bottom, because if I take an A... Okay, so it doesn't say that E is on the bottom. But let's just take it as an E. So we're going to do this. Just going to bring down the entire mix. So here we have a basic chord progression, and that's going to be our sort of starting point for our synthwave track here. The other thing that, well, the next step here, you don't have to start with a chord progression, but I like to start with a chord progression, because that means that I can easily just like lay down a basic bass, right? Some like to start with drums, and sometimes I do start with drums myself. But I do feel like it's sometimes that starting with drums kind of just pushes off doing the hardest thing, which is create the chord progression. Wait. What was it that I moved up? Oh yeah, I moved up to D, and I think that could have been a mistake. Sometimes voicings doesn't sound better. Because that's how it sounds now, right? So if I then move this up here, You get that weird, it creates a weird sort of like slight dissonance, and that has to do with this not being. If I did it on a piano, just as an example here, we can go to Spitfire Audio and just add labs because it has a decent piano sound into it. So as long as it loads up and doesn't crash on me, I can just do this, right? You can hear how that just creates, it doesn't create resolve, but it just, oh, okay, we're on our way home now, sort of feeling. But the difference, right? I could even do this. Well, I could bring that up, move that down there. Then move this one over here. Remove that. Take that and then go here to D4 and then go no, and then mute you. You hear the different, how this sounds nice and kind of soft, right? Now this piano plugin is extremely low volume comparatively to the synth, so I'm just going to bring it up. Right? But if I then take it like this, so I mean, this voicing is okay, but I feel like having the D as in this case works better. So playing with the voicings like that is something that you have to try out yourself. Not everything is gonna be like, I think I've been taught like the closer the chord the better, but also it can mean that the chord loses some of its, fundamental. Because now it sounds a bit more triumphant, right? But now it sounds still triumphant, but a little bit less. Which in this case, and I'm pretty sure I've used this chord progression like probably a couple times, so I might want to switch it out. But going from, but I could go like, wait, reset it. That could also work, so we could switch that out. Switch that out. Did you hear that? And this is a problem with some VST and actual like physical synthesizers. When you have the same note, it sometimes doesn't reset properly. You can hear it in the A, I think. I'm pretty sure it's the A. Yeah, so it is the A. So I can't really go for that one, can I? So we're gonna have to go. I don't wanna hurt you tonight, my friend. Okay, so we're gonna stick to this, even though I might have used it multiple times. We're gonna get into, I think we're gonna do some bass. For bass, I'm gonna be using a different VST, I think. We're gonna see here. Where is it? Well, here, I think. And then you have Fury 800, Mono Fury. I think it's the Mono Fury. Don't crash on me. We're gonna save it as it is right now. So the Mono Fury is, we're gonna have an init bass, which is gonna be here, init. We're gonna select triangle, triangle, saw, saw. The level is gonna be there. Triangle down, triangle up. And we're gonna go for and then we're just gonna take the cutoff and just and then sustain. Oops, don't want to spill my Sprite. I recently purchased a Sprite, like a couple of days ago, maybe last week. I was like, this is surprisingly good. Then I realized today, because I purchased 2 cans again, because they were pretty cheap. Like, it wasn't cheap because it's cheaper to buy an entire bottle, but I don't want an entire bottle. So I purchased two cans. Yeah, it has 33 grams of sugar. I don't really eat sugar unless it's like my mom has it in her cooking, or she brings home, fika, as Swedish people call it, but like cinnamon bun or something. I don't really eat it, and when I do, I feel both good and bad at the same time. My body doesn't really my body isn't used to sugar, so I get this sort of like kind of sugar high. I get a little bit more energetic than I used to be, but it also, my stomach is like, whoa, this is sugar in it, dude. There's also something else inside of certain sodas that my stomach doesn't really like, and I get a bit gassy of it. But yeah. Now this is Can you hear that click? I love how you can do this. Okay, not on the real one, I guess. You can turn it. That's the off button too, huh? What can I? Oh, this one has a built-in arpeggiator. One. Wait, how do I? Huh. Let's do like 8 notes, right? No, it doesn't. So this arpeggiator doesn't work. Okay, cool. I couldn't get it to work now. What is auto damp? And then why this clicks so much, I think is because okay, we're gonna do the same sort of decay shit here. There's the sound that I want. But how are we gonna get there? Also, what effects is there? What effects did I turn on? I'm assuming it's this? Well, technically. It could have an okay, so that's what I would call an anchor note when I do that. A note that works with everything really, and you just have it before switching. Makes it more interesting. You can also do like so you go from or right, so but this sounds pretty good. We're gonna keep that sound, and then we're gonna just here we're gonna figure out da 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 da. Okay, so we want da. Okay, I'm thinking about running. That gets that right, but we don't want that, so we might use this instead. And then have everything anchored to the F sharp. The last note is a. slight transitional. It could work. I just wanted to save you with my own eyes. I couldn't be seen without you. I never thought that I could fall this hard without you by my side. Add some lyrics that sounds kind of lovely, but not really lovely because it is dark. Sprite. Now, here's also a thing I wanted to try out. So we're doing it in 60 notes now, right? But you can, and then. Okay, so this synth doesn't hit as fast as I would like it to, which is the problem with certain, where it's like it can't really hit that good. You can also try. You see, so how would I be able to do this? Well, I would have to take down the release of both the filter and the VCA, which would mean the clicking would come back a bit, but that would make it so that I can. But that would change the overall sound. Wow. What up? Caesar's Fed C. Looking for some of that golden feedback. Hi. Arigato estamasu. I have to show background picture. Enhance. It's damn it. I think it's a Nissan. I think it could be Datsun. I've enhanced too much. It's an R30. It is, isn't it? Nissan Skyline R30. These are golden, man. Oh yeah. The R30. Now, this is, I mean, the R30 is kind of in the awkward period of like, it's cool. It's cool. Yeah, it is an R30. This is Indonesian plates. It's an R30, but dude. I mean, yeah, that one is cool too. I would say my favorite is the R34 GTR V-Spec, but that's because I grew up on like the Fast and Furious movies, but it looks like nice out of the Nissans. My favorite car of all time is the Ferrari F50, but that's for another different reason. But like, I think I would rather have one of these old Nissans over an R34 because this is just classic. This is just a classic look. I think that's like the Nissan Skyline. I think it's the, oh no, didn't take it away. I think it's like a Nissan Skyline from the 70s, like 1978 or something like that. I think, no, that's not a, what are they called? Wait, we could just quick, because now I'm, Nissan Skyline R30. I'm just going to go here, and we're going to go here, and then we're going to go here to Iglesias. See? Skyline. Wait, is this the correct Skyline? We're going to see the is this Skyline? GDA. Here we go. Classics GDR. Wait, this doesn't seem like the Nissan Skylines that I'm looking for. Or is these the Skylines? Yeah, here's the R30s. Are they not Nissan Skylines? Because this seems like it's the... It doesn't seem... It's the four-door. It's this one. Yeah. This one. These guys. I don't know what it is about them, but they look so American Japanese. It's like they wanted to make a muscle car. Or is it these? Oh, these guys. Here they are. 2000 GTX. Here they are. They look so like... I mean, like, they look like they wanted to be made in America, but they were not unfortunate. They were fortunate enough to be made in Japan. They have this sort of like a mix between a classy like car for a businessman, and a race car and a muscle car all at the same time. I mean, it's amazing, the design, the ink. It's a classic design. Let's listen to your track. With that in mind, that the Skylines are classics. They're classy. And of course, when you make bops, fonks, you into the Skylines, bruv. Too bad they're on the wrong side of the road in Japan. For me, at least. Wait, that seemed like... But... Wait. That seems weird. Is this man... Oh, he's in California. It seemed like a very Swedish name. I mean, fast food places S tier list. I'm looking at Twitter at the same time. Germany, bro. Okay. There's this guy named Ludwig Ahgren, which sounds like Ludwig Ahlgren. It sounds very Europe name, like a very Europe name. And he was rating like fast food places, and I was like, another Swedish guy. I thought this Ludwig was Swedish, but another Swedish guy was like, who puts Five Guys on top of their S tier? I'm like, dude, have you been at all these places? I feel like as a Swede, I would have places that you don't know about as a German, right? But I would definitely not feel comfortable rating KFC on that list, because I have had it. I've had it like a couple times. You got Five Guys? We don't have Five Guys. I don't know if it's a good place to eat. We have like the standard. We have McDonald's. We have Burger King. We do have. We do also have, which you don't have. We have Frasses, which is like a very Swedish thing. We have Bastard Burger, also a very Swedish thing because they are both Swedish. We have Max, which is a very Swedish/Scandinavian thing. So if you've been in Denmark, you might have seen a Max. But I would be like, on my list, it would be like Bastard Burger on top, Max A tier. Then I think I would have to go like either Burger King or Frasses. Both of those would be like Donken, som vi säger, Donken. McDonald's, it's trash. Like, the only thing you get at McDonald's is a cheeseburger. I'm just saying. Like, it's who goes to McDonald's and be like, hello, excuse me, can I have a... No, you go there in your Volvo, you order 60,000 cheeseburgers in the drive-thru, and then you drive off at 5 miles an hour. I don't know why I say miles an hour like that, because we don't even use miles an hour. It's the movies, man. They have 5 kilometers an hour. Right? I like this track. The mix is solid. Kilometers per hour, dude. But it's so much... I think it comes from me, specifically me personally, watching a lot of like Top Gear and American car shows, where it's like, yeah, we're going 60 miles an hour. I've always been like, up until I was like 20, I was like, 60 miles an hour, is that even fast? And then I kind of Google, 60 miles an hour is 100. And I'm like, oh, so the 0 to 60 is a 0. But the biggest annoyance, and I've gotta say this, the biggest annoyance is when I watch a YouTube channel, which I know is based in Canada, and they flip-flop. Like sometimes they're like, oh, this weighs 60 pounds, and I'm like, in the next video, this computer case weighs 5 kilos. And I'm like, the same person, you interchanges them like he has brain damage. Because I do not want to be Canadian. Because they must be... Like, they must... The metric system is easy. Everything just easy to count and all that shit, right? But having to having it so that you're interchange... if you know any tech, it's Linus Tech Tips I'm talking about. But also Hacksmith. They go like, okay... In one video, they might talk about like pounds. In the next video, I'm like, what the fuck? How am I gonna... Thankfully, their editors are like, oh, this is 60 pounds in parentheses 5 kilos or whatever, right? So they do show me the kilograms. But it is weird how he can flip-flop. I'm assuming he's just reading a script. So he's, you know, because they do script their shit. But it is weird to see how it just flip-flops. And it's only on Canadian YouTube channels that happened. On some British YouTube channels, it has happened too, I've noticed. Because they used to use that system, but they switched to, you know, the metric system. The only system, right? But like, I like this. What you could do... which is a thing that you could do. So you have your sax on one side, which is good because the saxophone isn't really a stereo instrument, right? Wrong. Pff, your mind is blown now, right? Right? What are you talking about? Well, in the sense of you being stereo as stereo input. If you are watching on stage a nice saxophone player play, he's going to be standing on maybe one side of the stage and his pianist and the drummer is going to be on one stage. So you're going to have this sound stage which is like very directional. The saxophone is going to be more in one ear than the other, but it's not going to be quiet in the other ear. So one of the tricks that I do, Fusion Music, what up? One of the tricks that I do to negate this, I want still this kind of like feel of like there's saxophone on one side of the stage, one side of the sound stage, one side of the whatever, right? I then take the reverb, so I do a reverb send here. We add an FX channel here to my thing, and then I would actually pan this. So let's say I've panned my saxophone, I would pan my reverb to the other side, which then creates this sort of like stereo feel, but not stereo feel. If you don't want it too much, you could just do it a little bit, you know, pan it like that. Depending on your DAW, it might look differently. You might even have to just create a different reverb, which I wouldn't do, create a different reverb for it and then pan the reverb like that. But that's a way that you could negate that sort of like getting the 70s stereo feel. And the 70s stereo feel is something that I've listened to a lot. It's when music was made to be played out of speakers, but the people they were making it for couldn't use speakers. So in the 70s, stereo was a new thing, like stereophonic music, like 2 tracks, like a left and a right. So when people made music for that in the 70s, well, even in the 60s, it was emerging in the 60s, but in the 70s it had a real foothold. You had like 4 tracks and stuff like that, but you could pan things, right? So you would have guitars hard panned on one side and then drums hard panned on the other side. It would be like your ears were in different rooms and listening to 2 different bands because there were no connecting thing. So having the reverb kind of bleed in a little bit more to one side can create a sort of like, when you're listening to it on headphones, a more sort of like natural sounding feel. It sounds more natural, it feels more natural, and that's kind of the only thing I would do. Otherwise it's very chill. But having certain instrument being absent from one ear is kind of like, you get to feel like, oh, this guy did it on a pair of speakers, because on headphones it sounds like trash. And that's a big reason why you should listen to things on headphones. Not everybody has the same like weird problem that I do, where it like just feels weird and I kind of just want to listen to it on speakers. But I feel it's important because most of the music that is consumed today is consumed on your bus ride from home till work, and therefore, or train ride, tram, underground, railway, airplane, whatever you take as public transport, essentially. So you have it on headphones, and so that is something to think about, right? But I do like it, but it is something to think about. It is. Arigato aizaimasu. So I mean, like, if you do that, you're gonna have a 10 times better track. It's gonna be good, maybe. Okay, so now back to the synthwave of it all. We have a bass line, we have a pad, and that's really the basic. We're gonna add drums now, of course, but the basic gist of a synthwave track is really that you have a pad that sounds clean and 80s. Okay, so the basic gist of like synthwave is you have a good, clean drum kit. Right, to go with that. We're gonna go for a 707 kit. Most people don't like the 707. I don't know why, but I do like the sound of the 707. Maybe the machine itself is terrible machine, but you need something like. So yeah, so you need a basic thingamajig. Yeah, I mean, like, this is a... I would say that I can tell you this. I think that a lot of people who have made synthwave have actually used this particular synthesizer, because this is a great sort of like how should I say it? It's a great competitor to the Tao this guy, right? So you might know this guy. You might know it as looking differently if you've seen a picture of it. There's an old version, but like comparatively, this one has a little bit less functions. But this is the Tao and Tao LX. This is the Tao NLX, right? So this is a 106 clone, cleverly. That is very popular in synthwave. This one, on the other hand, is the PG8X by MLVST. This one, as far as I know, is still free. I got it for free. It doesn't... Mine... I've reinstalled Windows at some point, and it didn't come with the patches. Yada yada. I don't really have any patches for it, so I just make my own. Which I feel is liberating, not to go through patches, not to know how other people would have created a sound. But that makes for very generic sounding sounds. So this one is free, of course. I don't only use free stuff. I have like a physical things I can knock on. Knock knock, who's there? Oh, it's just free synthesizers. Not to brag. So, I mean, like, yeah, but this one is also free. Full Bucket Music or Full Bucket. Create some great free stuff that can sound very synthwave. Now, this one sounds... very synthwave, right? So, what essentially you need to make good synthwave is... we're going to add the third synthesizer I'm going to use, which is... I don't know if I want to use this one, but we're going to use it. Where is it? It's like Digital Suburban. There are other free synthesizers. Check out the Discord for more of this. I can find links down below. But this one we're going to do at the end, because this one is going to be like a... not an in-depth, but a basic tutorial on how to make a bell sound on an FM synthesizer, because what the fuck? Who doesn't need a bell sound on an FM synthesizer? But then, you need some basic drum samples. And not the sampler that I use is Studio One, but the samples are not Studio One. So you can get these samples sometimes for pretty cheap from, I think this is Sample from Mars. Yeah. So check out Sample from Mars, not sponsored, but that's where I got those samples from. I also have samples from Reverb drum machines. And I also have some Animal Crossing New Horizons sample packs that I've made myself, which I don't have the right to release to anybody. You can sample your own Animal Crossing, and then I think you might probably not get away with it. They might be like, how fun. As long as you're not making millions of dollars on their shit, you could use whatever. But you want something... I prefer this kick, I think. And that one, it has a little bit more. So you, when making synthwave, it's not the instrument, it's how you use the instruments, right? Because I think a lot of people think that the synthwave artist has like massive studios with like vintage gear. I don't think so. I think they use a lot of stock plugins. They sit in their Abletons, their Logic Pro X, their Flash Studio, and they use a lot of the stock plugins to make those sounds. I prefer not to use the stock plugins in Studio One. I mean, I use the samplers. I use Presence. I use Presence, I use Sample One, I use Impact. Presence is like a sample player. And then impact is drum sampler, and sample 1 is a keyboard sampler. But most likely I'm going to be using something else that I have because I have a lot of stuff here, or one of my physical things, right? So we're going to just create a basic drum pattern. For synthwave, you can do whatever you want, really. I mean, you could go something like boom, boom. Then you want a little bit more crispy guy. And then just boom, boom. Da 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 da. You also need some toms. We're gonna get into toms later, why you would need them. But toms are really important for synthwave. Tom. Wow, look at the tom on that, motherfucker. So, well, we have our drum beat, right? Sometimes I like to use like a hi-hat to set like just an offbeat groove like this. So just duplicate it and then go. But I would then select all these and then just velocity down. Which in this case is just the volume of them. It doesn't have a velocity sensitive sort of like sampling here. So that on certain, you know, banks in my impact, specifically from the made from Studio One, you have like the harder you press, you get a different sample of someone actually hitting a hi-hat harder. But on most drum machines, the velocity is essentially just like I'm changing the volume. So it was a way to kind of like roughly mix something by actually changing the velocity. So you could use the velocity to mix. And on some, it would trigger different samples instead of just the same sample at lower volume. But in this case, it's just the same sample at lower volume, which is fine for this case. You could probably modulate the velocity. Yeah, you can. To the filter, so I could have it when it's lower velocity, the filter closes in a little bit, or the resonance go up or something. I don't know. You could do that, but you know. So here you would go like that, I think. Yeah. Da-da-da-da. And then here you would go like that, I think. Well, that's okay, good. And then you have some sort of variation within your 4-bar loop. And you know, some start off, I rarely start off with just having drums starting off. I do something like maybe this. So we're going to start off with our... that is then going to go into this. Then there. And then here we're going to create a... I want like 1 bar. Over here. Now we're getting into the tom stuff. So here I just want to go like, I don't know, mid. Oh wait, low. Mid. Something like. And then of course you don't want it to start to loop the other point. And then you can loop it like this, you know. So you go like, this is your intro sort of like. And here you could have something like also if you want to make it, some synthwave tracks, earlier synthwave tracks, I guess, that I take inspiration from, like Kawinski and stuff, they have some sort of like intro sound effect or talking. So you could take your microphone. You could be like, hey, what up? And then you go like, on a dark, windy road, I was walking down, and the cars were driving faster than light. I don't know what's going on. Get me out of here. And then, you know, you do that, and then you go boop, 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 beep, boop. And then I've forgotten how to do this, but, you know, we're gonna... It doesn't matter if it's clipping. That's kind of something that I wanted, because it's really, I mean, it's not gonna stay clean. And drive it a little bit. Do like a parallel, 50%. On a dark, windy road, I was walking down, and the cars were driving faster than light. I don't know what's going. The problem that I would have with this one is because I'm sing-talking, meaning that I'm trying to get a specific pitch when I'm saying something, which would mean that I would have to tune in, so it is within the range. But we're gonna skip that for now, and we're gonna add, you know, the effects. Yeah, boy, not gonna be not something. And then going in here, adding this, and then we're going whoop there, and then dark, windy road, I was walking down, and the cars were driving faster than light. I don't know. And then we're just gonna distrunk it. Fuck. How would I distrunk it the best way? I could go... Ooh, wait. I kind of like it for certain things. I like the chorus because it's very subtle chorus. But yeah, let's go here. Let's go... On a dark, windy road. Well, that's cool. What have you done? Recording, pressing. There we go. Oh. Hopefully I just... On a dark, windy road, I was walking down, and the cars were driving faster than light. I don't know what's going on. Get me out of here. And now I've created kind of a... what is it called now again? Vocoder sound. I've created kind of a vocoder sound without actually having to pick up my vocoder, which I have a couple of vocoders in here that kind of is... I don't know how to use them. I used them like once or twice. I'm like, this is cool. And then I'm like, that took me like 6 hours just to get working. So then I don't use them, and then I want to use them. I'm like, it takes too long. So I've just learned myself to make creative ways to make sounds that sound sounds. They don't sound roboty. But yeah, and then of course I would just lower the volume a little bit. And then it would have reverb on it once we get to the reverb part. But I think I want to get into Dext now, because Dext is kind of a complex thing. But it's also not complex, because I'm only going to teach you how to make a bell sound. And maybe a pad. A bell and a pad? Maybe a bell and a pad. But first we're going to start off with a bell. So this is a Dext. Dext is free. Wow. I don't really like to use stuff that costs money on stream, because it kind of feels like I gotta pay to create this. I feel like music should be for everyone. So unless I'm using something that is physically a synthesizer or guitar, it's probably free. Or I'm using a demo version just to try it out. Or there's a free version with downscaled shit. But this Dext is essentially a interface / VST synthesizer / virtual synthesizer / digital synthesizer of the DX7. So some people use Dext as like just an interface, like an editor for DX7s, because it's easy to hook it up and just like, yeah, this is, and then edit the sounds here and then loads them into their DX7 to get that crunchy DX7, the first revision, DX7 Mark 1. I don't think they call it Mark 1, but I'm going to call it Mark 1. rather than the Mark II, which had a cleaner 16-bit DAC instead of a 12-bit DAC. But we don't have to go into that, right? So Dext seems complicated. It is complicated because frequency modulation synthesis is very complicated. But hey, I'm gonna try and teach you as good as I can, right? So if you're watching this and you're like, okay, what is frequency modulation? Let me tell you what it is. So you have operators, not oscillators, operators. What are these operators? They are this. This is an operator. I'm going to turn the other ones off so we can just hear one. On the DX7, the original one, they have one waveform, the sine wave, which is one of my favorite waveforms because it sounds very clean, and you can get pretty easily on a DX7 or any FM synthesizer that uses sine waves a organ sound. Now each FM synthesizer uses has a different amount of operators, but hey, this one has 6. Some have less, some might have more, depending on when they were made and all that cool stuff. But basically it works like this. I have a operator, and the operator's frequency gets modulated by a second operator. So now I'm using this one to modulate this one. So then we turn up the level of this one. And then it gets modulated. It sounds different now. With, out, with, right? So if we look underneath Dext here, we can see this sort of like, right? So we're going to keep it at 75. Then you can do, change the frequency of this. So we're going to change it to lower. Now it sounds like that. Then you can go. So you can get a lot of lo-fi sounds on this. So if you like low fidelity music, you will like FM synthesis, because a lot of the Yamaha old keyboards, like that were meant for kids, the PSSR or PSS, whatever they're called, PSR or something like that, those keyboards, they actually used FM synthesis to make the sounds. You couldn't really edit them, but the chip inside was an FM chip, and then you just had a little memory chip which held the presets that you could click in. So someone had programmed them at like Yamaha on a prototype version which has a programmer to it, right? Which was able to program stuff, right? So you can get very lo-fi, cool stuff using this, right? So what we're going to do now is just go over the basics of the algorithm before we get into the envelopes. Because the envelopes are not as they seem. They are insane, and I don't really know how they work. And that's why I'm the greatest guy to teach it. So algorithms is essentially, how do you want things to be modulated? So here we have our algorithm. So we have the second operator, number 2, modulating operator 1, and then it goes out. This row right here is the out row. The lowest row is where it goes out to your ears, or out to your cable, then to your ears, right? Depending on how you want to see it, if you have a physical synth or not. You can switch these algorithms around, and then you get different ones. They are grayed out because I don't have them activated, so I'm going to activate them for this purpose of seeing it looks a little bit better. So here you have one which is like 2 modulates 1, 4 modulates 3, and 6 modulates 5. But then it has this line which goes like whoop, and that is known as feedback. That's when you take operator 6 and send it back to operator 6. Pretty cool. We're going to keep it on 5. So here's the number of which the one that I'm using is. It's 5. We're going to turn all the other ones off again, but we're going to stick with 5 for the remainder of this. There is like, I think there's like 32 or something. Yeah, 32 different algorithms, which looks all different, and they all have their purpose, right? But 5 is a nice one. Comparatively to 6, I like 5. But you can do this with any really, because to get a basic bell sound, you need 2, which is I'm going to show you right now how you will get that. Because we have to get into the envelope generator. And the envelope generator is hell on earth on these. As you can see here, you have level and rate. Now on a standard subtractive synthesis, you actually only have 1 per thing. So you have attack, decay, sustain, release. Attack is a time-based thing. Also, in this case, I think it would be rate. Decay is also time-based. Rate in this case too. And then you have sustain. Sustain is level-based, which would mean level. And then release is also time-based. So that would be rate in this case. So if I then want something that, don't change the level. If I want something that has a bit of an attack to it, right? I would then change the rate. And if I change the level, it kind of changes the attack too, but I wouldn't really touch that, right? So for our case, we don't really want attack. And then we have the rate for release, which is kind of like, and here the funky business comes in, because this has to be similar to this one, otherwise this sound might cut through that sound. Stuff. So I think attack, decay. Decay is interesting because it doesn't, you can go here and then you can go like there and then you get that. That is So the decay point is not as interlocked as it would be with the sustain point, right? It doesn't decay over time to the sustain point. It decays over time. So if I set to the level that I set, so I technically would have to set it at maximum or the same appropriate level. So for example, I would have to put this at 50 and then this at 50, and then they would have the same, and then I would be able to do like this. And then it sounds like that, right? But then, you want this. I'm going to put that at 2. So here you have the frequencies, as we touched on before. You have coarse and fine. So I can go like, because some sounds require you to go like, you might want to have like this. And then you're like, okay, cool. Then you have to tune how much detuned it is from the other. So you can detune it also, which is cool, by 7. So to speak, but we're going to keep the detune at. So you can hear. So now we have to get some sort of like a release on this guy here. And then you have a very much sort of dreamier bell. But we don't want the dreamier bell. We want more synthy bell. So we're going to have to do this. We're going to have to do this so the decay is faster. We're going to have to select so the level is, higher, around 80, and then around, Well, not around 80, 80. And then
Har jag suttit ute?
so I mean like now we have a decent bell sound. But why I use more than one, sort of like part of the algorithm, is because of this. This is a pretty good bass sound. Not bass as in lower frequencies, but as in the ground sound. English, what the fuck? So what we're going to do here is we're going to have the chorus to 2, the chorus to 4 here. We're going to create a little bit of a, I think, attack on that and a little bit of release on that. That's a little bit longer. I should say 40 around. And then on this guy, we're going to just have a release of around 40 as well. I think these are like 42, 33, yeah. So around 40 on this guy would work. And then you would turn up the level here. And then on this guy, I think we're going to go with around 50. And now you've got even more 80s-esque sounding, right? And then we're going into my final, because this one has what's known as feedback, which is interesting. So I'm just going to max the feedback in all seriousness. I'm going to do, because this is going to add some crunchiness. So this one is going to be low. On the Arturia one, I think you can go 0.25. On the real DX7, you can only go 0.5, as far as I know. This is more accurate. And then this one is going to be 1 over. So we would have to go 1.5. 1.5. Like so. And then the level of this guy is going to be 100%. We're going to have a bit of a more attack to this guy. I think around 40 will suffice. And then the release around 30. There, and then this one is going to just have some release around 35, and the level should be around 70, not 75, but 70. Do you hear that? That lower note? Right, if I increase this, you get a noise, right? So I don't want entirety of that noise, so I keep it at around 70. And then I could if I wanted to. So this is if I wanted to be. Because I can hear that sort of like note. And then I could. I can hear it. It's slightly, right? Because to get it to be. This one doesn't work that way. Some synths where you're like, I don't want this. You can double press them or like shift or control press them. To get, it back to the initialized value, so to speak, right? But this one might have a little bit too much of an attack, so we're going to go back to like 50. And then you get more of a pronounced. So you use this one to like, so let's go like 45. And then because if I change the volume of this, on this one, I think the effectiveness of this will change. So FM synthesis is very, 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 very weird. But maybe you don't want a low note, which I don't want in this case. It sounds good in some instances because it gets that sort of like, there's like a gong feel to it, kind of like a Asian percussive instrument feel to it, which is nice. I like those. That's way better, right? And then I might want to take this back to like 50. And you can hear it rings. But you want it like. And then with a good reverb on it, right? So now we have our bell. I'm actually going to start adding a reverb to it. This is something that I do in the process very early. So for reverbs, I'm going to be using Mode Machines. Actually, it's not Mode Machines. It's digital systemic, the giant verb. I set it to 100%. I get the feedback down to about 970, 880 or something. 880 or something, and then I just put that on there. I guess I could do a little bit on the bass and a little bit. The drums are gonna get individual outs sooner or later, but like. On a dark windy road, I was walking down, and the cars were driving faster than light. I don't know what's going on. Gets me out of here. And there you go. Now you have a great fucking sounding bell, and it only took me like, what, 55 years? Yeah, because FM synthesis is that hard. I also want to try and show how you could make a basic like pad, but I don't feel like, well, I could. It's even easier. Let's load up a Dext, and let's add some reverb. We're also going to just rename this rev, because I get FX1, FX2, no thank you, rev. Short for reverb, right? So now we have this Dext. We're going to initialize the patch, and we're going to go like, okay, what algorithm do we want? We want to choose a different algorithm just for algorithm's sakes. This one, I like 8. 9 works too, but I like 8. So this one is wonky because you have 6 modulating 5, 5 modulates 3, but 4 modulates 3 too, and 4 feedbacks. We're not going to go full feedback. We're going to go around 3. We don't want the noise, so to speak, because if you go full feedback, you kind of get a noise generator thing to it, right? We want to turn off everything except for the first 2 to begin with. This is kind of how I get the bass, the ground part of the sound done. So what you want to do is this, and then you want to go level 75. And then you want to go like, I don't know, an attack point of like 35. Yeah. And then a release point of like You hear that thing? Yeah. So we're going to have to talk about that. So this, we're going to go down to there, and that's around, I can't go for that. 69. Nice. We're going for 69, and we're going to set this level to 69. We're going to set a decay point to, it's going to be a very long decay. The release is going to be longer than the other one, about 10, and then the attack point should be shorter. So that's the ground floor to our pad sound in FM synthesis. So what I've done is I've taken the level to 75. I've taken the levels to 69. Nice. And, 25, 30, whatever, 40 or something like that. Like, this is not the important stuff. We get into the important stuff now, because when making FM pads, this, I would say, sounds very nice, but it's a bit basic. So we're going to turn on everything else, and it's going to get chaos. Because here's the thing, you don't know where to start, right? Well, I start essentially with this, so I'm going to turn those off, actually. So we're going to turn this level up. Now this one is going to have an even shorter, I would say around 50. But it's going to have sort of a 60 sustain level. Yeah, so it's going to be a bit lower in volume. And the decay rate should be like pretty much, well, let's go for 40. And let's go like 30 in release, right? And then I want to see what this is at 35. We're going to put you at 30 then, because I want you to be slower. This is going to be like 50. We're going to have a level of like 40. So if I increase the level of this to the magical number, so we're going to decrease this. And then we're going to decrease this back to 40 again. So if I then turn it off, then turn it on, that slight thing that it's doing, it's amazing, right? We're going to turn these on. So this is going to get turned on to 75. No, we're going to 69. And it's going to be down 1. This is going to be up 4. I'm going to take this up 1, just now that I think about it. The envelopes are going to be attacking at around 40 on both of these, and I would say around 50 in release on these two. This last one here is going to have a little bit of a change of heart here, around 70. Going to go for this guy to 70, and then it's going to have a massive sort of like that. Of course, I would have to turn this up to like, I think 50 would do. Okay, so this guy has to have a longer attack. And I'm actually going to increase it to around 60. Oh, the B. It's bane of my existence. Okay. So it is. What if I do? You have a lot of other stuff inside of these. Like you have breaking points in that. I don't really know what they do. They could make the sound sound different. We're gonna increase the left and right depth of these to like 30. I don't know really what it does. Then just like the rate scaling of like maximum. We're gonna increase this to like let's see if I can't. I mean, like this making. I don't really make pads on FM for this sort of genre because I feel like this is just a hang around pad, right? Hangs around. Just hangs around. It's more ambient stuff, but essentially, I mean, like FM is weird. It took me a long time to realize what the fuck is going on, because the basic gist of FM is you take one sound source to modulate another sound source. That's the basic gist of it. But since the envelopes are like 6 point, they're not 6 point. They're 4 point envelopes with 6. Modulation points or whatever you want to call them. It's confusing. I'm gonna save that and I'm gonna just rub up because we don't need it. But like on a dark windy road, I was walking down and the cars were driving faster than light. I don't know what's going on. Get me out of here. Okay, so we're gonna actually record that. Gonna do that. Because you just need something basic. And then I'm just gonna quantize it by doing that, and then I just duplicated it, and then it's oh, you want it to happen over there? You not happen over there. You not. You happen over there, I think. Yeah, okay. And now you maybe want to add some sort of like lyrics to it about how, you know, I never walked this road. I only saw your face outside, driving in the night. The night it felt so long. My love for you is strong. I never thought we could walk past ourselves in the rhythm of the world's universe in the night. I just say some words that work with the beat. I never felt this way, like I would repeat. I just want it to be very simple. We can talk about love, cars, motorcycles, anything that is pretty dark. Yo, I'm a motherfucking gangster. Everybody gotta know that I'm a prankster. I don't even wanna go like ooh ooh. Everybody gotta know shoot 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 you. Yo, it's gonna get crazy, but I don't wanna go like this. I just wanna need it. When I need it, I don't wanna go home. When I need it, I don't wanna go home. When I mean, like lyric wise, you could do whatever you want, really. But you know, talk about love, talk about past memories, talk about old friends, childhood memories, things from the past, nostalgia. Did I say love? Did I say cars? Did I say motorcycles? Did I say winding roads in the night? Did I say lights from cars passing you by? All that cool stuff, right? I'm just gonna do this. Check my emails real quick, get it quick. But like, if you wanna, Netflix. What? Info at mailerflix.com. What? Okay. I do have an old Netflix account, but you know, I don't think it's on that. Okay, anyways, right? So, now I have to check my email real quick. I mean, like, that's basically it. Now you might say, okay, but how do I create an entire full song? Shit. We would need one more thing for that. Really? What's that? Well, we have the bell, but we don't have a lead sound, a smooth, creamy lead. What? Which is not going to be this. We're going to use... not that one. We're going to use... Yeah, we're going to use this one just for ease of access. So we say hello to our little friend again. We're going to cut this down to there. We're going to get this down to about 15. It's going to go a little bit like that. And then whoop and then go da and then go dip, and then go turn the level down because it's gonna be screaming for your fucking ass. Okay, that. I'm just gonna through this. And now you're gonna see that it doesn't open up the filter enough, right? So we're gonna have to open. That's enough. And then we just go into our mixer. We go like massive amounts of rev. And then just... ta-da! Yeah. So, I mean, like, what I basically did is I have a pulse waved pulse. It's a pulse waved square. They call it a pulse. It's a square that's been pulse waved, dude. And I have a sawtooth. Put them all on maximum. Yeah, dude. I put the filter down to 50%, and then from there I open it up with 20%. dark windy road I was walking down, and the cars were driving faster than light. I don't know what's going on. Get me out of here. And now you just need to do this. So it's on repeat now, right? See? Now this sounds very similar to... I have to define it from itself. Because if I take this and then this... Because it's the same synthesizer, right? And I also have chorus on it, so okay. We're gonna increase the volume. There we go. That might do it a little bit. I'm gonna probably increase the release a little bit. Get that more of a feel, and then but it actually on a dark windy road I was walking down, and the cars were driving faster than light. I don't know what's going on. Get me out of here. So I think I'm gonna mute my vocals for a second here. So I think that could play nice. Okay, I'm gonna... I think that could work-ish. But it does feel like I'm taking them too long. So I want to take them. Okay, so for that to, I would have to take them shorter, or I would have to make it overall longer, which would mean I would kind of have to remove the loop there. And then you just quantize that, and then you go like. And that sounds terrible, doesn't it? Sounds terrible. So this is kind of my point where I'm like, okay, bell sound is pretty easy because they're just like. You know, they get created pretty easy, pretty fast. We'll get back to that. I think the sound might be a problem with it too, right? So, we're gonna create a long track. So we're gonna just like, how long is this? 4? Okay, we don't want that long. Okay, around 97. So something that I know is kind of gonna be very static and stuff like that, I can just copy. Yeah. And then you want to select like a part like here to here. So I'm gonna use this one, which is known as the arranger, where I'm gonna just go. Son of a fucking shit! I hate that it does that. So that's the intro. Then you have the first verse, which is gonna be like that long. So then I go like that. With the bass too, I can just copy it. And then go drums, copy drums. You're gonna see later. So that's pretty easy like that. And then I'm gonna take that and take 2. And then just do like there, I guess. And then, oops, and then just, you want to end on that. Okay. There we go. Then we're gonna have. Okay, so we're gonna create a chorus. Damn it, I can't. Good thing it didn't. A chorus which is gonna be like this long. And we're gonna zoom in here on the chorus. So the chorus is gonna be different. Huh? Well, okay, so the chorus starts here on 33. Now it's gonna go. And then it's gonna go C. Or maybe a C up here. But, I do want to end on an E, right? Yeah, you kind of want to end on the home chord. So that would be that one. So you could go. That could actually work. Fuck. That would mean the D wouldn't be there. So it would go. And then, of course, I would have to change the bass line real quick, which is easier said than done. well, that was the wrong expression for that, but you know. And then I'm just gonna go here, 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 and here, and then go here, 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 and here, and then go boop, 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 and then boop, 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 boop. And then the chorus will go like. Something is wonky here. We're gonna try with this. Oh, baby. Why didn't you say so? Because that sounded fucking amazing. Amazing! But then I can't go to G, right? Because then we get that problem. Sounds okay? Green, green, green. It sounds like it's, you know, it sounds like when you're, you know, you and your fucking adult friends are trying to get over like a fence. But you're the guy that was never really athletic, and they're like, come on, let's just jump over it. And you're like standing there climbing over it, and they're like, what the fuck? And then another guy finds a door, and he gets there before you think, but you get there before. It's just weird. Fences. So we would then have to switch this out. Now we can't go. Or wait, we can. No, we can't. This sounded. Oh, should I do that? Okay, so let's switch this out to. Let's go like, and then. Right, I have to switch out the bass line. So this is now a, I think D, and this is now a C, right? I kind of want to, which means I kind of. Okay, so that. That's E sounds sad now. It doesn't sound as sad now. That's the weird thing about these things. Sometimes they sound sad. And sometimes they sound real happy when you don't know what you're doing? Oh, that's why. That's why these sound off. Because they're not on a 1. Or a 3, as they start on the 3rd. So, you know, you would want a different melody running across this, like a lead that comes in like... Wait, now I'm playing the wrong spin there. And then when it comes back here, we're gonna just have the bass. So it's gonna go like... And we're gonna have this cool lead that I haven't thought about yet. And then it's gonna be like... Okay, so now we're gonna have to do this. We're gonna have to do that. And copy that. And then here, right about here, eh? We're gonna think that would be correct. Yeah. So then we're gonna go. So we're gonna have the lead is gonna get like. That's a ticket on it. The lead is going to get introduced over here, and then it's going to get reintroduced here, but we're going to have a different lead over here. Okay, so we're going to have to do this and just... And then, yeah, then we have this sort of like where it goes into its own mind and feels like it's should be something over there, over here, you know. But yeah, this could work out. And then this is gonna get, we're just gonna up this over this, make sure, pretty good. And then we're gonna put this back down here. Name your shit. I'm gonna name it pad. Bass. Else. Lead. And that can stay whatever it's called, because then I know what drum kit I'm using. And then here, I'm gonna have a different one. Something like that, maybe. Do some mild changing, maybe. Get that up a little bit. Velocity curve. And then get that hitting right spot on. And then having that end a little bit prematurely. And then going like... I would want to do that, right? Add like another bar and then add that there. Take this and then go like, or like spicier. When you're doing things like this, you're letting your sort of like lead talk to itself. That's when you really give it like, is it a good lead or not? Gonna do that, I think. And then we're gonna have to add that one. Yeah, let's call it a bridge. And then let's call this outro. Outro comes over here. Yes. So now I have a basic structure where we have an intro, which
On a dark, windy road, I was walking down, and the cars were driving faster than light. I don't know what's going on. Get me out of here.
on the end. I just made a pop track. It sounds very 80s, sorry for that. I don't know if my chorus is long enough or short or long. I don't really fancy arranger terms like intro, verse, and chorus, bridge, and verse, and outro. I do my things my way, but my friends tell me I have to structure it, otherwise it's gonna be so fucking dead. Everybody gotta know it's 3 minutes, but I don't feel like I changed a lot. The chorus comes around once, it doesn't come around twice, so should I make it double the length? Should I have the chorus come one more time before the outro? I don't know, that would make it a bit longer also. Also, I think around here we're gonna do it twofer. We're gonna take this and we're just gonna go like that. And now we're gonna actually see what drums are being used. Okay, so this is going to mono 1, mono 2, mono 3, mono 4, mono 5, mono 6, high, low, mid, high, low, mid. Ooh. Don't want you. Tom high, tom low. tom mid kick, and then you go for nope hat. I knew it, but I was writing it. Snare. Low.
Jag sticker och jag
Da, da, and then I think I would go like, and then have that like pad like that. So then it would sound like. Different reverb lengths. Yep. That's how you do that. I'm gonna end the stream here. We've made an entire synth. It needs to be mixed. If I stream some this weekend, which I might do, I might mix it then and there. Hopefully you enjoyed today's short stream, but you know, I felt like I had to do a stream this week regarding the music. So probably could go longer, but it just probably could go longer. I could go longer, but I kind of want to go take a shit and not have to think about, you know, I have a stream going. So, yeah. Yeah. Okay. I mean, like, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna end it. I'll see you guys next time, okay? Yana.
The stream is fucking over now. You can't stay here no more. Check out the links below. Hire me on Sound Better. I'm a mixing, mastering engineer. I do all that shit. You can find the link below. On all that other shit, you can find that Discord there with a free sample pack. You can find the YouTube, Twitch, and Insta, and the Twitter too. Just check down below, and I'll see you next time. The stream is fucking over now. The stream is fucking over now, okay? I'll see you guys next time, okay? Check the links down below. Hire me on Sound Better. That would greatly support me. I'm a mixing mastering engineer by trade. I have a degree that supports that. You can also check out the Discord for free sample pack. And follow me on my social media, Instagram and Twitter. But also check out my YouTube/Twitch. See you!